Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, I'm just gonna go straight in there. If you haven't already subscribe to the channel. Like, share and subscribe, and drop a comment if you like the video at the end, or if you have anything you wish to share or contribute. Also add me on Instagram. I'm there, I'm always there. So today, in my video, I want to talk about my birth story. Now, this I've kind of been uh, grappling with this. Like, I've been wanting to do this video for a while, and some days it's like, no, I'm not going to do it, and some days it's like, no, but I want to do it, and I finally decided to do it. So what's brought it on, basically, I don't know. Sorry, I thought I saw something over there. I don't know if you guys are aware of the YouTuber Nicole Thea. She passed away back in July. She was pregnant, 8 months pregnant, and she and her son died. And since that happened, every single day, no word of a lie, she's on my mind every single day. I didn't know her personally. I was one of her followers, and when I found out that she died, it messed me up for a couple of days. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think as a mother, it was a whole load of emotions that I couldn't explain. That, you know, she was excited, it was her first baby, and you know, they had everything ready. Like, she documented everything, her and her partner, the baby's room, you know, baby bag. You know, she was a dancer as well, so she would dance while pregnant and all of that. Like, she was amazing, and I loved watching her stuff on YouTube and on Instagram. I followed her on Instagram as well, and to hear that she was just gone, and her baby as well, they both died, and it just, it really affected me. I just kind of wanted to come on here and talk about my own birth story, because I think part of the reason why what happened to Nicole affected me is that I kind of feel like it could have happened to me as well, because she was obviously she was a first time mum, and she was very vocal with her followers and stuff that she felt like something was wrong, and that she has spoken to her midwives and stuff, and they would all just brush it off as that's normal kind of thing. And I had a very similar experience in my pregnancy, and my pregnancy was awful, and my birth was also awful. I thought I was one of those people who thought, you know what, my pregnancy has been hard, my birth will be easy. I was very wrong, very, very wrong. I don't know what I told myself. Like, I can't have both bad things. It can't both be bad. I can't both have a hard pregnancy and then have a hard labor. That's not fair. But that's exactly what happened to me. My pregnancy, in my first trimester, I think first trimester was normal. I had morning sickness, and I was crying all the time. I was so emotional, and it was so annoying to me because before motherhood, before I was pregnant, I wasn't an emotional person. I was like an ice queen, honestly. It was very rare to see me crying. I didn't cry. It was, a lot didn't make me cry. So for me to suddenly just be crying over everything, I used to get very annoyed with myself. Like, why are you crying? What is this crying for? Just stop crying. I would, yeah, honestly, crying, throwing up, and sleeping all the time. Like, I would just knock out anywhere, no matter where I was. if I'm seated, I'm out. I remember I was in a tattoo shop with my sister and her kids. She went to get a tattoo, so I was watching the kids outside in the waiting area. As soon as I sat in that chair, I was out. Like, I couldn't stay awake. I don't know what was wrong with me, but anywhere I was just falling asleep. So yeah, that was really how my first trimester went. In my second trimester, the sleepiness had kind of gone and I wasn't being sick as much. I was still sick, but not often. I wasn't vomiting often, and I had a mild heartburn. Postman. Heartburn, and I had no appetite. I didn't like food. My pregnancy craving from my first trimester was McFlurries, McDonald's McFlurries, is all I wanted. First and second trimester, it's like I must have a McFlurry. So pretty much in my second trimester, I was just eating McFlurries. Not all the time because I didn't always want it, but when I did eat, it was probably a McFlurry or some other kind of silly snack. I honestly, I didn't want to eat that much, and I did lose like quite a lot of weight because I didn't want to eat. Towards the end of my second trimester, something happened. I can't remember for the life of me what happened, but something was wrong. And so I called the triage to let them know that I need to come in, something's not right. So I went in and they did their tests and things, and I honestly, I can't remember what was wrong. They sent me to go to the labour ward. After they did their test, they said, yeah, something's wrong. Sent me to the labour ward. Now, in the hospital that I was in, the maternity triage was a separate building away, not away, it was outside the hospital. Like, you had to like turn some corners and cross the main road and then you're at the hospital. So one nurse accompanied me to the maternity ward, and oh, I remember this bit so vividly. I was walking, and then we finally got into the hospital and we were in the lift, and I was going to faint, but I was fighting it. I was fighting it so hard. I was like, man, no, you can't faint. No, we're nearly there. Like, hold on. I was really like talking to myself in my head, like, hold on. And I thought, if I look down, I'll be okay. That was the wrong thing to do. As soon as I looked down, I was gone. I fainted. It was so embarrassing. I woke up and, oh, I was saying I woke up. Hi. Are you coming to do Mum's YouTube video? Someone just woke up from their nap. I was trying to do this before he woke up. So I fainted and I woke up and there was a whole load of nurses. Everyone's running around trying to get me in a wheelchair, and I was thinking, no, embarrassment, no, so embarrassing. I was just so embarrassed. Oh, hi babes. Are you going to come and say hi to YouTube? Look, you're on YouTube. That happened and I was in there. They put me on a drip and they just said that I needed this drip and then I'll feel okay. I didn't have to stay in or anything. I would go home once the drip had finished being administered. So that was that. And I had the blood tests as well. And from there, everything went downhill. My third trimester, that was the worst. The worst. My morning sickness, if that's what it was, came back. I was vomiting all the time. Not only was I vomiting, I had severe heartburn, especially at night. And not only did I have severe heartburn, not only that, yeah, I was also vomiting blood. Like, blood was I was vomiting blood. Um, it was so hard, man. It was so hard. And I was still like working at the time. I stopped working when I was about maybe 7.5 months pregnant. So it was starting to become increasingly hard, and I just kind of said, like, I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna have to start my leave from now. So third trimester was just, it was terrible. Like blood, vomiting blood. And I would go to the midwife about this all the time. I was like, why am I vomiting blood? This isn't normal. And they would just keep fobbing me off. Oh, it's just your heartburn. Oh, it's because you've been vomiting and your throat is sore and it's bringing up blood. Oh, this, oh, that, oh, this, oh, that. You're fine. It's normal. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And because I'm a first time mum, I have no experience in pregnancy. It's like, okay, maybe this is normal. I don't know. And it was really hard. I really struggled, and it was awful. No sleep, heartburn, vomiting. It wasn't nice. It wasn't nice at all. And I remember at that time my cravings had gone from McFlurries. Dean? No. I was saying my craving had gone from McFlurries to ice lollies. Now, when I gave birth, it was 2018, and at that time it was like winter. And do you remember in 2018, winter was really long? Like, it was snowing in January, it was snowing in February, it was snowing in March, and it was snowing in April. I gave birth in April, but winter was very long that year, and I was just eating ice lollies, ice lollies, ice lollies. I couldn't cope without ice lollies. My third trimester consisted of ice lollies, Munch Bunch. Do you know the Munch Bunch double stuff? I used to eat that to help with my heartburn, and water. I drank 5 to 6 liters of water every day in my third trimester. I was always thirsty and itchy all the time. So that was basically, like, I would eat other food, but I was always vomiting anyway. Nothing stayed down. But ice lollies, water, and Munch Bunch. And because I don't drink tap water, it was bottled water. And at the time where I was living, thank God, I was 2 minutes walk away from the big Tesco. So literally I was there every day buying bottles of water, buying ice lollies, buying Munch Bunch. And they used to look at me like, you again, the same things again. It's like, look, I'm pregnant, like, I need it, I need it. So yeah, that was my hiya. That was all I was really eating. You say hi, YouTube. Are you going to be all right? Bye YouTube. When it came to giving birth now, I was induced because he was 10 days late. Now, I don't think he was 10 days late. I know the date I conceived, but I don't know how they calculated it, but they kind of said that I was due on the 31st of March. But in my mind, I felt that was too early. I felt they were 2 weeks out. But they said he was late. So I was induced like 10 days after. So I was induced on the 10th of April. And that was a whole nother experience. Yeah, so I was induced on the 10th of April. Now, when I went in to be induced, they took my blood pressure and my blood pressure was high. So the first ward, I forget what it's called, is it labour ward? Anyway, the first ward where like everything was meant to happen, like they give me the induction pessary and I just kind of wait until the labour starts. They said, because you've got high blood pressure, you need to go up to the actual labour, like, delivery ward. It was like, okay, fine. So I went there and waited for labour to start. So we were waiting, and the midwife, like, she was talking to me, like, the pains had started, but I have a very high pain threshold. So I just felt uncomfortable. And she was talking to me, she's like, oh, how does it feel? And I said, I feel like I'm being squeezed. But it wasn't like, you know, when you see some people giving birth and they're screaming and they're, ah, that wasn't me. I was just like, this is a bit this uncomfortable. I don't, like, this don't feel nice. But I don't think she kind of like realized the severity of what I was trying to tell her, because I wasn't making a scene. But I kept telling her, it just feels like I'm being squeezed. Obviously, I've never given birth before, and to my knowledge, when you're getting contractions, it's meant to start, then stop, then start, then stop. But I weren't stopping. It was just a continuous squeeze, and it was like, hold on, why is it just constant pressure? Constant pressure. There's no let up. She didn't understand the severity of what I was saying. So it was only when they hooked me up to some machines, they put some machines on to monitor your contractions and to monitor the baby's heart rate and stuff like that. It's only when they put on the machine that they saw that there was a problem. And then the midwife is all flapping about like, your contractions are not stopping. I was like, yeah, I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you that it's just I'm being squeezed. Baby's heart rate had dropped. Like, you know, baby's heart rates are really fast, like doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. His was really slow, like doo-doo. Like slower than mine. It was like EastEnders doof doof. So they all started panicking, and then they rushed me into another room, a private room, where I had to give birth. And what they had to stop my labor. So they took out the pessary and they stopped my labor completely, just stopped it. So I was no longer in labor. And they tried to bring on the labor naturally, because they said my body's had a bad reaction to the pessary. That's why it's just squeezing continuously. So they used this long thing to pop my waters manually to bring on the labor naturally. But because my body, I don't know what was wrong with my body, why my body was behaving this way, it started doing the squeezing again, the non-stop contractions again. So by then there was nothing they could do but to just monitor what was going on and hope that my body would like sort itself out. So it was tense, boy. I went in on the 10th at 2 p.m. and my labor, I actually gave birth the next morning. And it was, thinking about it, it was a whole load of drama. But I couldn't go to the toilet. I needed to pee really badly, but every time I went to the toilet, it wouldn't come out. So they had to put the bag that just kind of drained my bladder, because my bladder was full and it was obviously getting in the way of everything that needed to happen. And so I had to have that bag. I had to stay lying on my left, because if I lie on my back or lie on my right, the baby's heart stops beating properly again for some reason. So I had to stay on my left, and it was so uncomfortable. This boy gave me hell. Like, honestly, everything just made his heart stop beating again. When the doctor came to like check how dilated I was, and like she touched his head with her finger, the baby's heart stopped beating properly again. Everything was just affecting his heart rate, and it was just like, come on, like, what is going on here? In the end, I had to have an emergency cesarean because I wasn't dilating, and by then the baby had become distressed. He had pooed in the womb, so they just needed to get him out. And then, you know, you're thinking, okay, this is the end of it. They're just gonna cut him out. That's gonna be the end of it. Cut him out. And when they got him out, he wasn't breathing. And when I tell you, like, it was probably only maybe 30 seconds in real time, but everything was in slow motion. Because when they got him out, they said, he's out, he's out. And you're there listening for the cry, and he's not crying. Why is he not crying? He's not crying. He's not crying. Why is he not crying? and I'm listening, like I blocked out every sound, and I'm just focusing because I can't get up. I'm lying on a table with my guts open. His dad sitting next to me. Not like, I couldn't hear no one. I was just listening for the baby's cry, and obviously because he weren't breathing, they had to rush him off to try and get him breathing, so I didn't even get to see him straight away. And I'm just listening. Where's the cry? Why is he not crying? Why is he not crying? Why is he not crying? It felt like an hour. I was, honestly, everything just slowed down, and then I heard the cry, and then I could breathe, and it was like, okay. But I still didn't get to see him for like 20 minutes. His dad went over to look at him, and he came back all happy, like, yeah, he's so cute, he looks like me. It's like, oh, he's fair, he's this, he's that. Like, his dad was happy, and seeing that his dad was all right kind of put me at ease a bit. It was like, okay, but I still didn't get to see him straight away. They kind of just took him out the room and told his dad, like, come, and I don't know what was going on out there, but they obviously stitched me back up. When I got back into the ward, that's when I got to see him. But yeah, you would think that's the end of it. That's not the end of it. It's not. There's still more. After that, I was still in the hospital for 10 days. They kept me in the hospital for 10 days. Me and Dean didn't get to go home till Dean was 10 days old because I caught an infection, which I later found out was E. coli. They knew it was E. coli, but they just kept pretending they didn't know what it was. And they also kept telling me my liver and kidney functions are deranged. And it's like, what does that mean? Your temperature's too high, I can't send you home, your liver and kidney functions deranged. They sent me for an ultra scan to see what's going, that I had something on my liver. And it was just like ridiculous. They wouldn't let me go home. And one doctor, immediately after I gave birth, made a comment that stuck with me. He said, we need to work out why, considering everything, your baby came out a healthy weight and is healthy. And it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, I didn't have like complications in my pregnancy that I was aware of. Of course he's gonna come out a healthy weight and healthy. Later found out, after I had gone home, and they sent me for an MRI scan when Dean was about 7 weeks old to look at my liver and kidneys and everything. And then afterwards I had an appointment, a follow-up appointment, when Dean was about 3 months old. Then at that time, I was told by the nurse, who probably didn't realize that the other doctors had kept it a secret from me, that's when I found out I had E. coli. And also in my pregnancy, the time when I went to hospital and I fainted and all of that, they did a blood test. They found out that I had cholestasis. Now, cholestasis is a pregnancy-related liver disease. That means your liver's not working at all. Which makes sense why I was drinking so much water, because my liver function had ceased. Cholestasis kills, like, you know, your body's not getting rid of the toxins that it should be. And I was never told, but they knew since January, and I had given birth in April. How can you guys know that I have this life-threatening disease that is treatable? It's not like it's a disease they can't do anything about. Cholestasis can be treated, but they just didn't tell me. That's why I was drinking water and I was itching and all that. All that was cholestasis, but they didn't tell me. I could have died. My baby could have died. You lot knew I had this since January and you didn't tell me. Why? Why wouldn't you tell me that? Why wouldn't you treat me for something treatable that put my life at risk and put my baby's life at risk? I was blown away when I was hearing everything the nurse had to say. It's like, you lot knew, and you didn't tell me. Why? Honestly, after all of that, I just felt really awful. Like, just knowing that I was ill, and the people who were meant to be looking after me knew I was ill and chose not to tell me I was ill, and B, not to treat me for that illness. It was, honestly, I started looking at doctors and nurses and midwives a whole different ways. Like, why would you do that? This is why I say, like, to people now, like, if you feel like something is wrong, go with your gut, because sometimes, because I was very vocal about things that I felt were wrong in my pregnancy and they were just brushed off. And I feel like that might be the case with Nicole, because she was very vocal, even with her followers, that things weren't right, but they were being brushed off by her midwife. You know, when something feels wrong, like, don't just accept that the midwife or the nurse has said, oh, it's normal, because it probably isn't. Like, when I gave birth, my dad and my sister, they came to visit me in the hospital, and they didn't say anything at the time. It was only a month after I'd given birth, and they saw me again and they said, oh, you know, when you were in the hospital, your skin, your face was black like charcoal, and we were really worried. I said, what do you mean? Like, my skin was dark, black? They said, Maya, your skin looked like coal, but now it's gone back to normal. That's why we're telling you now. Like, we were really worried. And I was thinking, nah, like, I didn't believe them. So I went in my phone and I scrolled back to see because obviously when you give birth, you take plenty of pictures. And my skin was almost as dark as this hair here. Like, obviously my kidney wasn't working, not my kidney, my lip, well, my kidneys weren't working either, but my lip, like, nothing was being drained out of my body. When you have liver problems, if you're like lighter skin tone, your skin goes yellow. I guess with dark skinned people like me, you just get more black. And that's what happened to me. And it was just like, wow, like, honestly, like, I was just being protected by God, because everything that happened could have really gone a different way, because I was really ill. And from what the comment the doctor made, they expected Dean to be born unwell. Now I know, like, if I ever have another baby, I know better. I'm like, obviously I'm well educated now because of my own experiences. I don't have the words to explain how it makes me feel, but it just kind of makes you feel like you can't really just take what the medical professionals are telling you, you know, because they don't always get it right. And I still, like, I'm not going to start throwing out speculations and being all controversial, but it doesn't make sense why they would know that I was ill and not tell me I was ill, you know, that there's no reason for that whatsoever. When someone's ill, it's your duty as a doctor or a nurse or whatnot to let them know that they're ill. You don't, why would you keep that from them? But yeah, that's my birth story, my pregnancy and birth story. And if anyone's got like similar experiences, like, please feel free to share it, because I would love to hear. If you like this video, like it, of course, like, share, subscribe. And I felt like I needed to make this video just to help. Like, I'm sure a lot more people are aware anyway, but like, do my part to make people aware of certain things that may happen when you're pregnant, you know. And just to always look after yourself. Always, like, if you feel something's wrong, like, it doesn't matter if they're calling you a hypochondriac, like, 9 out of 10 times something probably is wrong, because we know ourselves and we know our own bodies. And even though you might not have been pregnant before as your first child, and everyone's pregnancy is different, I think your body will always know when something's wrong, and your gut will always tell you when there's something wrong. And I don't think that we should ignore that. So yes, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.